Hello, everybody. My name is Drew. Today, we are here at the Goulet Pen Company and we're going to talk about some new releases. We're going to kick things off with a new release that isn't super new, but you've probably already heard of it, and that is LAMY's new All-Stars for this year. Every year they come out with a new set. Well, not a new set. In this case, it's a set. They come out with some All-Stars and some Safaris every year. In this case, the All-Star is a pair. Brian has already done a video on these in detail. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time talking about these. You probably know about them already because it's kind of a big deal every year. So I'll link that video right there. You can check those out if you're still curious, if you haven't already been made aware of them. So there you go, new All-Stars, hooray for that. Those are here and available for $37.60 right now. Moving on down the road, we're going to talk about some inks real quick. So these are new inks from Sailor, part of the Yurameku series. And we've got Kokoro Guma, we've got Hana Gokoro, Zare Gokoro, Suki Gokoro, and Date Gokoro. And I have used all of these, and they are very interesting inks. I'm going to put some pictures up for you to show you that they look different depending on which type of paper you're using. All of these go down. They look quite different than when they dry. And then one step further, when they do dry, on some types of paper like Tomoe River, which you can find in our Goulet notebooks as well as the Nebula notebooks and some others, on that paper, they retain a good portion of their color. On other types of paper, they shift. And it's fascinating watching blue go down on your paper and then having it turn into not a brown, but you see what I'm talking about. I've got the images up here. They're fascinating inks. It's not every day you have an ink that literally color shifts before your eyes as you're writing with it. If you start at the top of the page and work your way down, what you start with and what you end up with are going to be significantly different depending on which sort of variables you have going on the page. So this is not the first time the Yurameku inks have introduced this fascinating feature. There have been others, but these are all new, these 5, and they are also available now. Every bottle is going to be $20 each, and you can check them out, learn more on our website. We're gonna move on, and we are going to move on to Esterbrook. All right, I wanna talk a bit about Esterbrook's packaging here because they have a really neat box. It's kind of a woven box with a really interesting logo printed on there that folds open this way. And they've got some interesting, features in here. They've got this kind of accordion situation going on with their box, which is neat, and it allows you to get this pen out with ease rather than trying to fight your way around the rigid box corners. You've got a cartridge here, and then you've got this. Now, I learned something today. Before I recorded this, I looked at this little envelope, and I realized I had no idea why it was there. So I opened it up, and inside, you'll see that you've got the Esterbrook logo on one side here, and then a note that says, scan to activate your pen. I didn't know what that meant because every pen that I've used, I've been able to operate without activating it. So this concerned me. No, for real though, it takes you to the website and you can activate your warranty and obviously see more of what Esterbrook has to offer. So there we go, now I know. As far as the pen itself goes, we are looking at the Esterbrook Estie in Petrified Forest. Now this is this was inspired by the national park, the Petrified Forest National Park. We've got a very earthy flecked resin here. My favorite part about every Estie is this. Now watch this, I'm going to unthread the cap, and as I do, you'll see a bit of a pop. Right, oh, there. That's because inside of these caps, there is a spring-loaded inner cap, which is a, let's see if we can see it here. That small little clear cup down in there, that is spring-loaded. So when the front of this section, or right here perhaps, hits that, it pushes up against it, pushes the spring back, so that spring is constantly giving pressure on that cup to make sure that the seal is nice and tight. So you can pretty much be guaranteed you're going to get a pen that seals well and doesn't dry out as much as some other pens without it might do. So they call that the cushion cap. To screw it back in, you can't really just spin. You have to press and then spin. And that gives you a nice firm thread closing your pen. And as far as the pen itself goes, this one is being sold at $175.50. You've got a steel JoWo nib, very reliable. If you've ever been able to write with one of these, you know these are good nibs made in Germany, and comes with a converter, but as we saw, it also includes and accepts a standard international cartridge also. 2 bits of gold trim here to match the gold nib. I think that this pen, being the earth toniness that it is, matches up really well with gold. I think that would be the obvious choice. It does indeed post. It is not a heavy pen because it is just resin, so it is substantial but not too weighty by any means. So wrapping that back up, we're going to talk about Sailor next. What we're looking at here are the Sailor Veilio pens. And these are bespoke pens that don't precisely match an existing model. So we're still figuring out whether or not to call these Pro Gears or Pro Gear Slims. They are in fact flat top, so they are more Pro Gear than 1911, I'll say that. 1911 Sailors are the ones with the rounded tops and the rounded bottoms. They're obviously not that, but they are in a league of their own. And that is because these, as you can see, are demonstratory swirly pens. And to achieve this, that means that these pens have to be cast, not injection molded. Most all of the other Sailor's pens in this style and design are injection molded, so they're not able to achieve this design. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this, and it is striking. This one is the pearl white, and this is the blue green. Both very unique. So the interesting part of this pen, well, another interesting part of this pen, there are plenty of interesting parts about this pen. It has a 21 karat gold nib. However, the nib is not as large as it is on the Sailor Pro Gear, which is the larger, not the slim. The standard Pro Gear has a larger 21 karat nib. This is the smaller nib, but on a Pro Gear Slim, it would not be 21 karat. So it's the 21 karat nib, but with the smaller size, like the Pro Gear Slim. And par for the course with Sailor, you're going to get a converter included in the pen, and in the box you're going to have your cartridge. These take proprietary Sailor cartridges and converters. They post nicely. These are both being sold at $550. For now, it's just the pair. I really do hope we continue to see more in this style though. Finally, we're going to speak a bit about Visconti. Visconti has a new Homo sapiens available to us, and it is the Lotus Garden Homo sapiens. And as you can see with the packaging, this is one of their premium Homo sapiens, not a run-of-the-mill. Not like any Homo sapiens are really run-of-the-mill. They're all very interesting. But we've got a glass window pane packaging here. Moving away this top lid, we see the Lotus Garden pen itself. And we have a tab here that you can lift up. Beneath, you'll find all of the information about the pen itself. Double reservoir power filler, 18 karat nib, and then information about the brand, warranty, etc. there. The pen, modeled after the Lotus. So a very, so it's themed with these colors in mind, obviously. A purpley, greeny pen with a purpley, greeny theme. I'll include some of their marketing material so you can see exactly where they're drawing in their inspiration from. You've got the double trim up here on the cap, which is a trademark of the Homo sapiens. You have the option to customize the top finial. For now, it is the Visconti V logo, trademark bridge clip there, and then the hook safe lock mechanism. There are 888 of these, and there you have the hook safe lock system here. So again, this one also has a spring-loaded inner cap, which is not common, but we happen to have 2 pens here today that have them. There's the 18 karat ruthenium nib, and like the package mentioned, this is a double reservoir power filler. So this pen fills using a vacuum. Depress your ink, push this down, boom. You see that this chamber is now getting sealed, so that this is now separate from this as far as what you're using. You're now only using ink from here, not ink from here. And that is the double reservoir, as I've said before, but you know, it's still interesting. And this Homo sapiens is going to sell for $1,036. So if you have been waiting for a pen that is green and purple and white, here we go. This is it. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Check out gouletpens.com because we've got all of our measurements and more detailed tech specs than I covered here today on each product page. So thank you very much. Have fun. Right on.